What's going on, guys? I'm going to go over what happened. Tyre lost his life because 5 cowardly cops decided that they wanted to beat on him because he was refusing to comply. Even though these guys have training, these guys should have enough common sense to understand the situation and how to react in a situation. They react very emotionally and they beat on this guy for a number of minutes. Now I'm going to say something that I know some people are not going to like what I have to say, but when you're at traffic stops, for whatever reason, you do have to listen and comply with police. Arguing with them, especially as a black man, is not going to end well. It doesn't matter if the police officer is black or white, because the main thing that you want to do is you want to make it home. And the last thing you want to be doing is arguing with police and not listening to what they're asking so that you can go about your business. But that doesn't mean that this man should have lost his life. That doesn't mean that at all. These 5 police officers were all fired and they should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And I hope they are. These are males that should have never been police officers. Never. They should have never been police officers. But they're hiring all these people and they don't even give them proper training. This is absolutely ridiculous what happened to this man. It should have never happened. And it's egregious. It's disgusting. And this is why people don't have any faith in police. Instead of you proving people wrong and saying, listen, we do care. We absolutely care about the community. We care about, what's being done out here. You're proving people right. When you go out here and you got all these cops, none of them must be physically strong enough to be able to do an arrest without causing bodily injury. And the thing is about these cops, I think the cops in this situation, I think they get off on beating up these guys. Because again, police officers, a lot of these guys probably used to be bullied. And again, I'm not making light of men who've been bullied, but a lot of these guys, they used to be, they were bullied. Let's be real. They never felt tough. So what they do is they either go to the gym to get bigger and stronger, or they become police officers where they have a badge and they have a weapon and they can use it against other people. And that's what happened in this situation. You had cowardly cops go out here and refuse to do their job properly. I've seen people who resisted arrest. They end up getting arrested without incident, without any broken bones, right? Without being beaten to a pulp. The video that I saw was absolutely disgusting. I saw the video where they were holding his arms and they were taking turns punching him. These are guys who are thugs with a badge. Not everybody is built to be a police officer. Not everybody should be a police officer. That's not a job for everybody. And it wasn't a job for these big old cowards, because that's what they are. These guys, again, who've never felt tough, never felt safe in their life. And they're able to become a police officer and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna get back at the bullies, or I'm gonna become the bully. That's what we have here. These cops should be put in prison and they should be there for the rest of their life. These guys, and I'm gonna put them on the screen. These guys, you can tell they've never felt tough in their life. They've always been scared. And now they have a badge, they have a weapon, and they can go and victimize others like they were probably victimized. There needs to be not only better police training, there needs to be, because whether y'all like it or not, policemen are not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, the government is putting more money into policing, whether they use it or not. There's not going to be any defunding of the police. That's never going to happen. Y'all just got to deal with it. But there needs to be proper hiring protocols. How many police officers have we seen? Because I just did a video about a police department in Tennessee where they fired multiple cops because you had one woman sleeping with all the men in the police precinct. And they fired half of the police force, seemingly. And now you got this police force in Memphis full of weak, cowardly beta males with badges who think that because they have a badge, they have the right to go and bully people. Ain't no telling how many men these dudes done beat up and you know what I'm saying, menaced. Ain't no telling. I bet you if you was looking at their backgrounds, I would not be shocked if they joined gangs. I would not be shocked at all. These are probably 5 dirty cops. If all we know. The video that I saw of these guys were on the level of the Rodney King video. The only difference was you didn't see them beating Tyre with a bunch of batons. This is sickening, and this is why people have no faith in police. And they did it to themselves. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over some of the things from the from this situation. This according to Commercial Appeal. It says officers tased, pepper sprayed, and brutally beat 29-year-old Tyre Nichols during a January 7th traffic stop, according to video footage released by the city of Memphis Friday. The footage, which is interesting, this happened on January 7th, but this is January 27th. But okay. The footage, which comes from Sky Cop camera and officers' body cameras, is split into 4 videos. People can be heard yelling at Nichols to get out of his car and forcibly removing him from the car. The video has been described by law enforcement and attorneys for Nichols' family as absolutely appalling, alarming, and unconscionable. The video shows officers kicking Nichols at least twice in the face, striking him at least 3 or 4 times with a baton. So yeah, basically is on the level. They were hitting him with a baton, but they were doing a whole lot more seemingly in this video. Punching him at least 4 times in the face, punching him at least 2 more times in the upper body area, and kicking him at least twice in the abdomen. The first video from an officer's body cam and lasts about 11 minutes. It shows officers pulling Nichols out of the car at Rains and Ross roads as he yells, "I didn't do anything. Get on the effing ground," and officer yells, "I'm gonna tase your ass." I'm on the ground, Nichols yells. An officer can also be heard saying the words, "Break your shit." "You guys are really doing a lot now," Nichols said. "I'm just trying to go home." The camera shakes, Nichols runs, and an officer shoots. Again, why are you getting up? And this is what really agitated them. Again, I'm not justifying or defending these police officers, because they were already agitated and they were looking for a fight. That's what it seemed to me. They were looking for a fight. But the fact that Tyre still got up and runs, I mean, I don't know how you're gonna win that. Like the going back and forth, that you can't win that. You can't win that. Nichols runs and an officer shoots him with a taser. Video shows that several officers were hit. Several officers were hit by pepper spray deployed by other officers. "I hope they stomp his ass," an officer at the first scene says. The second video, about 30 minutes long, is silent, taken from Sky Cop camera at Castlegate and Bear Creek Lane. The camera swivels to show 2 officers violently pushing Nichols to the ground on his face as he tries to turn over. Again, why are you turning over? Because once again, again, I'm not defending these cops at all, but I'm just saying, you know, they were looking for a fight, and if he was going to resist, which is what he was doing, then they were gonna punish him for that. They were gonna punish him for that. Then a third officer appears to kick Nichols multiple times in the face. The fact that one man, it took all these guys to do this to one man. I told you, these are not the most physically trained guys. Like you got 5 guys that can't even properly arrest one guy. Again, I've seen it where people will resist arrest, but they don't have any broken bones. They're not beaten to death. You don't see any of that. An officer looks on before walking over to strike at Nichols with the baton. Nichols managed to get back on his feet before officers appeared to punch him in the face multiple times. Then 3 officers forced him back onto the ground. More officers come into the frame. One officer attempted to hold down Nichols' feet. One officer seems to kick him again, and then the officers back away as Nichols lay nearly prone to the ground, moving his legs but unable to get up. Officers proceed to drag Nichols across the concrete to lean him against a police car. At this point, at least 6 officers are present. The minutes stretch on as Nichols lies against the car, with more officers clustering around. At one point, Nichols appears slumped over the car and lie fully on the ground. He rocks back and forth on the cement, with officers offering no aid. It is not only 28 minutes into the second video that a stretcher is brought for Nichols. The third video from a body cam shows an officer running into the scene at Castlegate and Bear Creek Lane, then spraying Nichols as he screams on the ground for his mother. The officer appears to have been affected by his own pepper spray. Idiot. Says, "I'm gonna baton the F out of you. Give us your hands." So they still ain't got him in handcuffs. Y'all done did all this, and you still ain't got him in handcuffs. Tyre must be real strong for a guy who's real slender built. He has to have like he must have a lot of strength, because the fact that all this is going on and they still have not gotten him in handcuffs, because of course, if you told him to go on the ground and you're putting hands behind his back, you're supposed to be arresting him. Why aren't you concentrating on arresting him? That is because these morons wasn't about arresting. They just wanted to bully this guy. They wanted a punching bag. They wanted a reason to keep beating him up, because you should have already gotten him into handcuffs. The fourth video, body cam, shows a different officer running towards the second scene. That officer's hands can be seen pushing Nichols on the ground. The camera goes dark as Nichols screams "Mom," and the officer continues to demand that he present his hands. See, that line is probably going to get them in a whole lot of trouble. Why are you asking? You've already beaten him up. You haven't asked permission to beat him up. So why are you still asking permission to get his hand for his hands? Your job is to, if he resists, you are supposed to make sure you get his hands in handcuffs as soon as possible. The camera feed is dark for several minutes as the sound of a struggle ensues. Nichols calling again for his mother. There's a sound of a man moaning and trying to cry out. "Breathe, bro," someone says. A few minutes later, the body cam still blocked. An officer says that MFer on something. He cutting through traffic and everything. When the camera is unblocked, it shows Nichols leaning against a police car. Shortly after the 10-minute mark, EMT arrived and appeared to start rendering aid. In the meantime, officers recap events, saying that Nichols was swerving through traffic and didn't initially stop his car. They pulled him out of the car at the red light. One of the officers said they discussed the beating. Bean was rocking, and then I jumped in, started rocking, and the officer, "Listen, you started rocking? Like, what is this?" The video contains redactions such as license plates and what appears to be cell phone. Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland said the video is just beyond anything I've ever seen. You're going to see a disregard for life, a duty of care that we all sworn to, and a level of physical interaction that is above and beyond what is required for law enforcement. Police Chief CJ Davis said, "I'm sure, as I said before, that individuals watching will feel what the family felt, and if you don't, then you are not a human being, and we're all human beings." Nichols died January 10th, 3 days after the traffic stop near his mother's home, and after what Memphis police call a confrontation. 5 officers of the Memphis Police Department were fired, and on Thursday were each indicted on charge of second-degree murder, aggravated assault, acting in concert, 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping and 2 counts of official misconduct and 1 count of official oppression. Congratulations, morons. You've lost your career and you've lost your freedom. Now you're going to be amongst the men who you abused and threw in jail. Good luck to you. I want y'all to understand something. I have said this before and I'm going to say it again. We have a police training problem. We have a lot of these police departments who the people who are running them don't care about communities. I've always said this. If you don't hire people who care about the community, then you're going to be hiring a bunch of a bunch of thugs to be police officers. You got to hire people who actually care about that community. When you hire police officers and put them in communities that they have no connection to or they have no care for, then this is what the result is going to be. They're going to go around there beating up people. How many other people are these guys beating up? I bet these guys are probably all cool with each other. And they've probably done this before. As a cop, you got to show patience. And also, what was the reason you were stopping this guy exactly? If he's resisting arrest, you are trained to get him in handcuffs and get him in the back of a police car without incident, which means he don't break bones. He's not beaten to a pulp. You got to do your job properly. And those police officers are exactly where they should be. And it's very sad this man, 29 years old, lost his life because you had these emotionally unstable police officers who are nothing more than thugs with badges out here not doing their job properly. So rest easy to Tyre Nichols. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Make sure y'all like this video and share it. I'll see y'all next one.